Okay, so today on the 5th episode of the Book of John podcast, we are continuing our conversation with Jonathan Jones, and he will be sharing his insight on many of today's hot topics. Enjoy.
How do you think that there's any chance to, put the genie back in the bottle, so to speak, when it comes to the widespread censorship that we've seen, just really take over the past year?
Well, that's an interesting question. Well, honestly, I don't think we want to put the genie back in the bottle, actually.
Right.
Because...
can come out again.
I mean... What did you say?
I said because it may come out again.
Yeah, right, exactly. So right. I mean, no, we need to change everything. I think, although things look very bad, and I mean, when you're talking about George Orwell's 1984 and all of that, it is depressing. And when you see the parallels with what is happening today, it's alarming, it's frightening, it's scary, and it looks like the future's very grim because, it looks like we're heading into a kind of totalitarian police state. Mm-hmm. But actually, I don't believe that at all. I think what's happening is really, really good. I think that things have to get this bad in order for people to bestir themselves, and actually start to wake up to what's going on and to actually take action to correct it. And I think that is beginning to happen. And I think there are lots of amazing people. They say that, when times are tough, what is it? The tough get going or something? What is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, what is that phrase? But,
when the going gets tough, the tough get going.
That's it. So, and that's what's happening. And you're getting these heroes, these heroic individuals who are appearing now, and who are, shepherding the people now into the right direction. And it's a question of people understanding the situation that they're in and the danger that they're in, and then starting to take measures to fix the problems. And I think that these problems are going to be fixed by the people, and I think that when they are fixed, it's going to be a permanent fix. So, in other words, the genie is not going to be put back in the bottle. The genie is going to be eradicated completely forever.
Yeah, see, I like that. I like that. That's a good way of approaching it. It's people. Just the censorship itself. It's been bad in this country the past few months. It's been trending that way for a long time, but I've noticed how it's just really seemed to snowball just this year.
Definitely, yeah. And it'll probably get even worse.
Oh yeah.
But the good news is that, for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. And there's the censorship is gonna reach a point, and then the camel's back is going to be broken. Basically, there's going to be such a backlash that it's going to wipe away censorship completely, and at least for the next few generations, who knows how many years, 100 years or 200 years, we're going to have free speech again, and we're not going to allow this kind of censorship.
Can I add
Right.
something? Can I add something?
Yeah.
Well, it's been incredibly sneaky the way the communism has infiltrated the West. It was almost invisible.
Yeah.
I mean, because we were brought up in Yugoslavia, we saw it coming, and we had a war, and everything blew up, and we were bombed, and the whole country broke, and it was the people were really great, there, and but it's so we could kind of see what was going on, and it's so sneaky. Like in the UK, it's so sneaky the way it comes at you, that like everybody that's going to see what has happened, they're never going to allow, we will have the feelers, we will know like something's coming, so in a sense it's good that we are having this big explosion, because it's like we are beginning to see just how sneaky the whole thing is, especially now with this operation virus.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's really going downhill fast, but I like what Jonathan said, about eventually it's going to be, the straw that breaks the camel's back, and, people are going to push back against it. I can't wait for that to happen. And I agree. I think that's very likely. I think that's the way, that's the right way to, turn the ship around, basically.
Yeah.
But, it would be of interest to our audience. They'd like to, get your thoughts on this subject as well. Being a movie fan himself, John F. Kennedy Jr. That is, I always knew him to oppose censorship. So, like, how do you think the world would look different? Had John won the Senate seat in 2000 instead of Hillary Clinton? And gone shape our legislator.
Oh boy, wouldn't that have been a great thing? Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm looking back, with the advantage of hindsight. I think that the Clinton machine and the whole financial behemoth, this huge, massive central banking system which was supporting the Clintons and the Bushes,
mm-hmm.
that even somebody very enlightened like John Kennedy Jr. Would not have survived.
Mm-hmm.
They would have eliminated him somehow, and
right.
I think that it's all about timing, and it's all about power. It's all about who's got the power, who can mobilize the military, who can mobilize the people,
mm-hmm.
and I think that that I think probably that they would have done something to him,
Right. Yeah.
Because he would have won. I mean, he would have won New York. He would have been the senator, and I mean, he would have been like his father. He would have been a fantastic leader, and they wouldn't have allowed that.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's very true. Yeah.
It makes me sad to think of it, but
they haven't allowed Trump to continue.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they've just they don't have to knock him off or whatever. They can just basically do the same thing by censoring him. Censoring everything he says. It's it's really sad, it's really sad, but it all goes back to, what we've been discussing here today, the censorship and, that's been brought on by communism, basically.
Yeah. You said it.
Yeah. It's it's a sad time for the country right now, but
it's a struggle. It's a struggle, but I think the dawn is breaking. I think we're on the verge of a golden age, actually. But I think we have to get through the next couple of years, and it's going to be a big fight, and we all need to join in on the right side and do whatever we can to help the white hats, and eventually it's inevitable. There's no question about it that the white hats will win in the end, and we will have a new world. We're going into a new world.
Yeah.
I wish I was 21 now, because I think it's a very exciting time now to be young, because it's the beginning of a new world. And I mean, there are a lot of things that have been suppressed by the establishment that will be released once we get free of our shackles. And these things include free energy. They include cures for cancer and heart disease. They include many things. There's absolutely no need for any wars ever again.
No.
There's no need for anybody to die of starvation. I mean, we have all the resources, all the know-how to fix all these problems very, very easily. But we have to get rid of this sort of monkey on our backs first.
Like dissolve the demon.
We at the moment Satan appears to be in control, but really he's not, and it's just a matter of time, really, and as long as we make the effort, I think we're on the we're at the dawn of a golden age.
Yeah, very, very well said. I agree. I like to, that it reminds me of, the words of John's father. I like to remember, and I think it's important for everybody right now to remember those words, that, not to ask what our country can do for us, but what we can do for the country, and it really, it comes down to all of us individually making the difference, that whatever difference that we can make individually, it adds up. It adds up, and more people that, believe that and try to make a difference, the faster I see this getting turned around,
Yes.
It could, once the snowball starts rolling, it'll roll fast, I reckon.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a long drawn out thing. It's going to be, I give it a couple of years.
Yeah, I see big changes, within the next 2 years.
Yeah.
It's an exciting time, I mean, it gets discouraging for a lot of us, a lot of people listening get discouraged, but
for sure.
Yeah, it's all fixable. It can be reversed,
Yeah.
Just takes people taking it upon themselves to change it,
Yes, can I make a comment on what John's father said? Don't ask what the country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. I just thought, we are always, we've been kind of brought up as children, to look to some authorities to fix things, and to sort of like, we can play, and they're gonna, sort out the problems, blah, blah. And the thing is, while we were playing and letting other people fix problems, they've been getting together and scheming and manipulating and completely taking advantage of human beings. So what I feel personally is that we never ever allow that to happen again. We solve the problems. We solve every problem, and there's no like government solving our problems, because it can happen again and again. It's like some entity you created and you leave it alone. It's a sort of like saying that it's fixing problems, but no, it's like we have to fix the problems. Anyways.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, we have to become self-reliant, and we have to become more active, and we have to and we feel good when we do that. We feel better. We have more energy. We're happier. We're happier like that. Just being treated like a child and just sitting there while your parents do everything is no fun. So the problem is the media. The problem is the brainwashing.
Exactly. Yeah.
But as soon as people wake up and they realize, oh my God, life is incredible. The world is incredible. We have the most amazing resources now. The inventions that have been invented. It's just phenomenal what we can do. We can do anything we want now.
Yeah.
And there's no need for anybody to be in hungry or in pain. I mean, we can do everything, and each one of us can, explore our own potential, infinitely, and it's all possible, but not if we are being brainwashed by this media and being sort of regulated.
Yeah.
I mean, America was founded really as a libertarian society. I mean, it was, the core of it was individual liberty, right? And somehow, the federal government has gained all this power. It shouldn't have any power. I mean, the power is with the people and with their local governments. I mean, originally, the only responsibility or duty of the federal government, the President of the United States, for example, was to defend the borders and to engage in foreign affairs. Because somebody had to actually protect the United States as a whole. But you don't need an FBI. What do you need an FBI for? I mean, you have each state has its own law enforcement.
Exactly.
Each state has its own government. They make the decisions for the people of the state, and the Constitution that you have in America, which is really the greatest in the world, allows complete democracy. I mean, you can vote for your police chief, you can vote for your judges, you can vote for the people who are there to be public servants. But you don't need a federal government interfering with any of that.
Exactly. Yeah.
The only thing that the federal government should do is to protect the United States as a whole, and protect the borders. And it's not even doing that.
Yeah. It's acting like that's just totally evil. How dare we have borders? It's ridiculous.
That's the job of the president of the United States, is to protect the borders.
Yeah.
I mean that's and everything else. You don't need an NSA. What do you need an NSA for?
Exactly.
You have each state can. Well, I mean, it is necessary to actually spy on people sometimes, because, for example, if you had, I don't know, let's say Chinese communists infiltrating let's say Yale University, right?
Yeah.
Well, then you would need to have a state security agency that would be, maybe, spying, tapping people's phones and so on, because then they would find out about these Chinese communists. And so, but that would be the Connecticut security agency, not the not the National Security Agency.
Exactly.
So, you don't need any national organizations.
No.
You've got the states, and what they've been trying to do in Europe, you see, with the European Union, is to destroy all the countries in Europe. Is to do what the federal government's been doing in America, which is to kind of take over all the states.
Right. Yeah. It's once you take away the self-reliance of the states, basically, you make them dependent on the centralized national government.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it's just a tenet of communism, really. Is get self-reliance taken away from the people or the state, and then put it in this one entity. It's really sad, but I have hope that it will get fixed.
Well, you can see it's happening. It's already started happening in like Maricopa County in Arizona. The state legislature is acting like they should, and this is inspiring all the state legislatures in all the other states, and they're saying, hey, we've got this power under the Constitution, and we don't have to listen to to Washington D.C.
Exactly.
We can take care of business. We can find out whether these elections were on the up and up, and we're going to do it. And if we find out that there was rigging or there was whatever, then we're going to recall the electors and we're going to have have a new election. I guess. I don't know, whatever they decide to do. But it's up to them to make that decision. It's not up to Washington D.C.
Exactly. Yeah. That's so true. That's so true.
That's a great sign. It's a great. And once that snowball starts rolling, it's going to have a big effect on the whole world. Because I think most people in Europe, they want, if you're Slovenian, they want to be Slovenian. You know what I mean? They don't.
Right.
They don't want to be, a region of the European Union.
Yeah.
Most people they want, they like having, their countries. They want to keep them. And so if this happens in America, it's going to inspire everybody everywhere else to, it's going to be a sort of, people's movement, if you like.
Yeah.
It's going to be a sort of, what do they call it? Like, a grassroots movement. And it's going to spread everywhere.
I just had a thought. Before we end, I'll have another question. But when you were talking about the Maricopa County, before when Pastor Mark and you had a conversation about the movies, and each state, like Pennsylvania, for example, creating their own movie studio with 20%, etc., etc. I just immediately thought, oh wow, if one state did that, that would start inspiring like the other states, and it would just blow up, just like now Maricopa County is inspiring other states about these audits and everything. But my last question, Jonathan, you you have worked on Mars Attacks movie. You wrote the screenplay. That's one of my favorite movies. I think that one was original in the 90s for sure.
Yeah, I loved it too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And your career seems to be very interesting. Where can we find more of your work? And have you been working on something recently that you could tell our audience about? We know you have, but you know.
Well, yes. I mean, there's a book just came out called Mars Attacks Memoirs, which you interviewed me for, and which I enjoyed doing very much. I mean, really, it was just an interview, but it turned out very well, and that's just I think I mean, I'm very happy with it. It's a very entertaining read about the making of that movie, Mars Attacks, and what I've been doing lately is, because for me, and anyway, I think in general, the movie industry is moribund now. There's no point in trying to make movies now. I switched to writing novels. I've been trying to teach myself how to write novels, and basically the last 10 years I've been learning and struggling to write novels. And I've got a book coming out. Actually, it's a book of short stories called Holly Weird, and it's kind of based on some of my experiences when I was working in LA, and that's coming out, I think, next. It's coming out in September, and then I've got another book that's coming out after that. I haven't got a date for the release of that yet, and that's a big novel, which is called Griselda, and that's it's about 600-page novel, which should be out in time for Christmas. So that's what I've been doing, and that's what I plan to do. I've got a bunch of other novels kind of lined up to do next year. So that's really what I'm doing, is novels now.
Wow.
Okay.
That sounds interesting, especially the Holly Weird. That sounds like something I look forward to reading that.
I'll send you a copy as soon as it's out.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think. Well, I can't say I've written it, but yeah.
Well, Jonathan, we will have your links up on the screen, throughout the podcast. But still, we would like to ask you, where do you have a website where people can, tune in and just check out, your work?
Thank you very much. Yes, you can get Mars Attacks Memoirs from MarsAttacksMemoirs.com. Mm-hmm. Or you can go to Amazon. You can get it from Amazon. So those are the two easiest places to get it. It's better to get it from the Mars Attacks website, because it's you get a better quality copy of the book, and it's got color photographs in it and everything, and so that's what I would suggest people do if they're interested in that. So yeah, and
your other work. Where can we find your other work?
The other work is quotabooks.com. That's the publishing company is called Quota Books. That's QUOTA, quotabooks.com. So if you go to quotabooks.com, then you've got everything there. That's the website with all my books on it and everything.
Okay, thank you. Maybe Pastor Mark, I don't know if you'd like to.
Just thank you so much for coming on the show today and answering all of our questions. It was I mean, it's very, I mean, just informative as well as just fascinating. I think it'll be a fascinating listen for, you know, the audience as well.
Well, thank you very much. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm glad. You know, I really, you know, it's honestly, it's kind of like a dream come true almost in a way. You know, just 1984 always being, you know, something that I thought so highly of. You know, the movie, you know, as well as the book. You know, so it's just great to, you know, it's great.
Well,
to
thank you again.
Inside. Yeah. Thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you, Jonathan. Thank you.
Well, thanks for having me. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, it's been our pleasure.
Yes.
Did you have any other questions, Mila?
Actually, no, that's it. Thank you so much, Jonathan. It was great, to have you on.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Well, anytime. Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to do
All right.
again.
And it was very, very nice to meet you, Pastor Mark. Very nice.
Yeah, I'm glad. Thank you. It was great meeting you too, Jonathan. I hope you have a good rest of the day.
Thank you very much. Okay. Bye.
Bye, Jonathan.